for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in the field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock that twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force a misinfo that we absorbing quick. Took the people's signature to mean extorted it. They forging it. If news anchors informants who informing them, there's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this reporting ships important. Yes, of course it is, but extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informing this, informing this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers actors say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field. That's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?
In a world where everyone's gonna probably get tricked with some false messiah unless you get right with the creator. I'm just saying though. So what's up? What's up in a world where I went live earlier on Atlantic City Boardwalk and it was ridiculous and there were a whole bunch of zombies and these just rebellious kids, because that's what they were. Just ran around, bouncing around like little Baphomets. Some of them were cool, but I don't know. It's just hard to reach people nowadays, man. Anyway, I'm doing what I can. Going through the coast. We're heading out tomorrow, heading towards Philly. Got a couple flight earthers in this area. Going to meet up with us in Philly. I think we'll be there for a couple days. Then we're going to go towards New York City, be there for a couple days, and then go chill with Dave in Connecticut. And my boy Eli's in New York. I'm going to have to check with his schedule, and we may actually head back to New York just to make sure we can kick with him, depending on how everything lines up. Then we're going over to Niagara Falls. So there you go. We'll be in at least like 3 cities over the next week. So there's a little update on that, in a world. I'm letting some people get in here, and I'm going to read some of the donations because I've been getting behind on them. So my boy David, for great job at the White House. Thank you for what you do. Thank you very much, bro. Much love. Thanks for the support. For the waters above, for that gravy making them steps slippery, bro. Much love. Watch your step. There's gravy everywhere. Thank you for the support, bro. Justin, for Love the Activism Streams, brother. Great work. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for the kind words and the support. Daryl, great job today, brother. You're an inspiration. Thank you very much for the kind words and the support. Andy, always important. I guess we're still, we're fresh out of Nazis. Still laughing. Yeah, I'm like, I guess we can't go back to the moon. We're just fresh out of Nazis. Thank you for the generous donation and the kind words. I'm glad you enjoyed it. John, thank you for the support. Sorry, I always say your name and then not your stream name, so I don't want to say them both back to back, just in case. But thank you, bro. Nice meeting you in person, and you're always helping brother out. Robert, awesome activism trying to help you out. Thank you very much, man. Every little bit does help indeed. Much love, bro. Mike Sweeney, thank you for the generous donation. Means a lot. You guys are the reason we're able to do this. Connor, thank you for the very, very generous donation. Great work, YouTube, Discord. I said your real name. So thank you very much, bro. That means a lot. Very generous of you, and I appreciate it. David, I'm Krypton Noob in chat. Hope this helps out. Yeah, every little bit helps out, man. So thank you very much. Much love. You guys are awesome. The only way this is at all even possible. So thank you. And then let's see here. Frank, thank you for the donation. My phone is just taking forever, man. Dean, thank you very much for the donation on PayPal. Much love. And Catherine, thank you very much for the very, very, very generous donation. Helps a ton. And that is why it is possible for us to keep this RV, keeping it pushing across the country. So thank you guys. We couldn't do it without you guys. What would I do without you guys? I don't know. So thank you. Means a lot. And I'm trying to work on something where we'll set it up where you can send longer messages that you want me to, kind of like the idea of where you send in letters to Owen, only you don't have to actually send in a letter, and I couldn't get it anyway, but where you can really, type something out and get my opinion on something if that's what you want. I know that both of those platforms kind of keep it short. I think PayPal is a little better with that. But anyway, so there you go. Thank you guys for helping me out and helping out the tour. And if you want to support the tour, masqueradetour.com has a donate button. And of course, $WitsitGetsIt on Cash App, Witsit@protonmail.com. For PayPal, links should be in the description. And if there are any that pop up in between now and the end of the stream, I'll read them off. I will tell you this is not going to be a super long stream. So now we got all the stupid infomercial nonsense out of the way. So tonight's stream is called Fake Messiah. Okay, so I do think they are, in fact, creating, this climate, if you will, the setting to unveil a false Messiah. And this will unify all of the world's religions. So Islam and Catholicism and Hinduism, you name it, agnosticism, Luciferianism, atheism will be done away with. Because there will be a metaphysical truth revealed to the public. And so I think that there will be a false Messiah. If you see the picture, it is the infamous very big statue in Brazil of Jesus, quote unquote. And I think that they may say his name. I think they may say Jesus. Of course, we have the Secret Society of Jesus. That is the Jesuit order. And you have to take the Jesuit oath with a dagger in your hand. You must cut yourself and bleed and take a blood oath, saying that before you turn your back on the Jesuit order or the Secret Society of Jesus, you agree to be eviscerated, literally, to throw a baby against a wall and crush their skull and all kinds of crazy stuff. So you should ask yourself, why do such psychopathic group of pedophiles that play dress up in the dark feel comfortable using the word Jesus over and over? Secret Society of Jesus. Well, if you're not new to this channel, there's actually a Talmudic application of Jesus, which comes from Yeshu, meaning may his name and remembrance be blotted out. The Messiah's poetic shortened name would actually be Yeshua, and Yahushua would be in entirety. So Jesus is actually a curse. So, of course, these evil psychopathic people don't mind saying Jesus. If you actually look at the origin of it, it is evil and in its intention. It's may his name and remembrance be blotted out. It's a literal curse. As if when you are blotted out and cease to exist from the book of life, it's as if you never did exist. And so how would there be no sadness? Well, it's like the loved ones that you maybe would miss would cease to exist. But anyway, so all that, I think that they literally may imitate a Messiah. And there may be a real metaphysical creature or entity that presents itself, and he may take the name Jesus and the supposed image of him. And one of the books removed from the apocryphal text says that before the antichrist reveals himself, his image will be circulated across the entire world. It's very interesting. Now, for me right now, the leading candidate for the son of perdition is still Donald Trump. And I think that he would be given power by the 10 kings and then take a final form, rule the entire world from Jerusalem. He did, of course, move the embassy to Jerusalem. This is not Trump as the Antichrist stream, though. But just so you know, yes, I do, in fact, still think that he's at the top of the list. Anyway, I think that they're setting the stage for a false Messiah. Everyone's like, oh, you ready for the fake aliens? Yeah, aliens, as in they're alien to this world that we currently know or inhabit. Sure. But they're the metaphysical entities that have deceived the world once before, at least as I see it, and they will actually turn the power over to the false Messiah. And I think that he will actually look like the Jesus that they told you about, and that he may even take that name. So what I want to do is I want to come over here and I want to look at this Bible verse with you real fast. We're just going to rock with the KJV. It's good enough for this point. You know, I don't have huge beef with the KJV. There are way worse ones than this, but it is severely messed with as well. Matthew 24:22, and except those days should be shortened. Of course, we had like the 20 shortest days recorded in a really long time, in my opinion, ever last year. So we had the 20 shortest days recorded, and of course, we were told the days will shorten. So, and except this is when Yeshua was asked about the end, the Messiah. They asked him, how will we know we're in the end? Matthew 24. Here's verse 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. Okay, this is what's coming. This is what's coming. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall shew great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. And it tells you right here that they will, in fact, show you great signs and wonders. So this won't just be holographic technology to trick you. This will be actual great signs and wonders. So much so that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. This is why flat earth won't save you. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, of course, female. And the stars shall fall from heaven, of course, impossible in a heliocentric fairy tale model, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. So it tells you right here, very, very candidly, right? Like, for there shall rise false Christ. So whenever they say, lo, here is Christ, right there, believe it not. Wherever if they say to you, behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he's in the secret chambers, believe it not. Now, this is a very, very specific warning. This is for there will be many false Christs and many false prophets. But when they say, look, he's over here in the desert, here's a Messiah or a Christ over here, over there, do not listen. For, of course, when the actual Son of Man, Yeshua, comes back, the one true Messiah, he will have a new name. He will be in all of his metaphysical glory. He's bringing a sword and fire, and every single person on the earth will see him instantly as he reveals himself, and every knee will bow, whether they want to admit it or not, because they will be in the presence of the one true Messiah. You don't have to turn on CNN and figure out where the Messiah is. You don't have to have someone run up to you and be like, hey, come over here and check out this guy that's some god. That's like a demigod or a Messiah. No, everyone will see him. So if you actually know the scripture, certainly if you have the Spirit, you wouldn't fall for this, because you would know that, no, I would already see him if that's the real Messiah. But the point is that they will actually usher in a Messiah. One of the apocryphal texts tells you that he takes credit for moving the sun and the moon. And so that's one of the miracles that we could be prepared for as general population, but it was removed so that you would not, in fact, know. It's the same thing with the pre-tribulation rapture lie that is propagated via the 1909 Scofield Bible, the interpretations within, and the doctrines taught within the ministry schools. For that, you would not know that you were in the tribulation, because you couldn't be here, because the Christians would have gotten taken up in this rapture beforehand, and millions will just wake up and everyone will be gone, and millions of people will be gone. So there's no way that Trump could be the Antichrist, because I'm still here. There's no way we could be in the tribulation or inching towards it, because I would no longer be here. So, of course, what better way to get the church to go apostate and worship the Antichrist than to convince them that they wouldn't even be there? My entire point being that this was a bunch of stuff that has been created and manipulated and taken out so that you will not be adequately prepared to see through the great deceptions. I just now read it for you. It very, very straightforward says that they shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, that they shall deceive the very elect. So this guy will come doing all kinds of miracles. So say he can float, he can age, he can tell you ancient civilizations, he can show you how to reverse cell degradation, he can show you telepathic communications, he can teleport. These people will worship him. He'll actually be able to, he'll reach up and it'll look like he moves the sun and the moon. Say he can bring like fire from the sky and whatever, make inanimate objects come to life, at least appear to. any kind of crazy thing like this. It does not say that there will be a military representation of the Messiah. It'll just be a holograph and none of it will be real. It says that he'll actually show you signs and wonders. Now, is it maybe a mix? Does it have something to do with that? Very possibly. It also says something to the effect of giving life to the image, which is a lot like artificial intelligence or some type of robot utilizing artificial intelligence. They may integrate this with the false Messiah, and then he takes some godly state. And of course, the manipulation of the genetics, the cutting of certain types of roots actually affect the way that you grow and your dimensions. And so that might be how Nimrod actually, ended up getting to where he was 2/3 God or whatever. So very interesting. I think that this is going to come. Nimrod will reign again, just in a more updated form, or just his current, a modern version of him. This is why they worship Nimrod. This is why they built the entire city. This is, in my opinion, why it's called Washington, D.C., for a divine council that will come. The 10 kings will give the power over to the antichrist. The queen will come from the south, from the ends of the earth, and then she will also concede that he is, in fact, the most powerful entity, the quote-unquote Messiah. And so it'll get very real very quick. Flat Earth won't save you, because the false Messiah will absorb the flat earth. He will come telling you all kinds of truths so that he can deceive you. And how would he ever be able to hold a position of some type of intellectual authority of knowledge if he doesn't even know what the earth is? See, us as flat earthers, we know the earth's not a tiny speck of dust that spins around in a vacuum that defies physics, a handful of them. There's no empirical evidence for it. We'd have to believe NASA, an anagram for Satan, missing the T. But of course, when they shoot rockets, they say T minus because they minus the T. And then of course, NASA means to deceive in Hebrew, with the snake tongue going through it. They took Nazis over here in Operation Paperclip. Werner von Braun wrote a science fiction book with the main character's name Elon that supposedly founded the first civilization in Mars in the 50s. So when he wasn't murdering all kinds of innocent people, I guess he was also a prophet. And so NASA's effectively trolling you via the use and propagation of lies coming from Nazis who are very good at propagation. And we still haven't gone back. So we know, of course, this is just a fairy tale nonsense story. And they went to the moon in 1969. They just can't go back 50 years later because they destroyed the technology. And it's a painful process to build it back. So not to digress too much, but we know the Earth's not a tiny speck of dust, and we're not going to randomly believe the Earth's a spinning ball all of a sudden, right? Because we need empirical evidence that's verifiable. We went out and tested the Earth. We know that it is not bending at roughly 8 inches per mile squared, or 7.98 inches per mile squared, up to 1,000 miles. We know that there isn't a physical obstruction at 1.225 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Rather, we have observations 1 foot off the surface of the Earth where the radius would have to be over 250,000 miles because the horizon's over 10 miles away. We see mountains from over 200 miles away needing to be obstructed by a mile of Earth curvature. We see the entire Chicago skyline should have been fully physically obstructed by Earth curvature from over 60 miles away, etc., etc. The list is very long. We will not just all of a sudden flip back over and think the Earth's a magic spinning ball after falsifying the radius, proving it's not curving anywhere, understanding that most of its water and fluid statics necessitates water to find its level, knowing that you couldn't have pressure adjacent to a vacuum because the second law of thermodynamics. There is no getting us to flip over. The globe Earth are mindless, like zombies that run around regurgitating propaganda. They don't even know why they believe in the globe Earth. I've been offering $100 cash to anybody on the streets that can answer 3 basic questions, the 3 basic metric questions. The first one is, how many times does the globe Earth supposedly spin every 24 hours? I can't even give the money away, effectively letting groups of people answer and giving them multiple choice. My point is, these people don't actually know anything about the globe Earth model. They don't even know what it is they think that they believe in. They certainly don't know why they think that they believe in it. And so they just go around because that's what everyone else said. It doesn't really matter. They're nihilistic. They're sunken in depravity or fleshly desire. They're basically constantly being distracted. The last thing they care about is actually knowing about the nature of where they live. They just believe that because that's what everyone tells them. That's what their parents told them. That's what their teachers told them. That's what their TVs and movies told them. That's what everything tells them. That's what Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman told them. And so they just kind of assume and believe it to be true and have gotten really trapped into this captivating lie about a solar system and space and aliens and blah, 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 blah. So my point is that these people will easily flip over if the majority of people go to accepting the Earth's a geocentric stationary plane that's enclosed, which it objectively, provably is, and the scriptures literally say this, and they're never wrong about anything. Well, then they will flip back with the majority. Now, flat earthers will not do this. And so how is it that they get the flat earthers in the great deception? I know that many flat earthers haven't come to the realization of the truth of the scriptures, or they haven't been able to humble themselves, or they have certain things holding them back, like bad relationships or bad experiences within the church, within the scriptures. And so this doesn't really click with them. They're like, no, they just want a new world order, and they're not going to let it. They're going to double down on space. But if you know the scriptures are true, then you know, well, it tells you right there, deception will be so great that if it were possible, even the very elect themselves would be deceived. And so how does that happen? It doesn't say, unless you're a flat earther, you'll be deceived. Flat earth will not save you. It was the door opened up. The creator brought it back up, made it surface so that we could start to wake up, and he could wake tons of people up to the true nature of where he lives. I know thousands of people, at least hundreds of people I've talked to personally, that flat earth has actually brought them to the realization that there is a creator. So yeah, that it has this use case. It's very important, and it shows you how special the earth is and how special you are and how much he loves us and how much he created for us and how beautiful of a place it really is. But it will not save you from everything. All that to say, metaphysical entities will present themselves, this is me speculating. I'm not claiming that I had some divine download where I'm a prophet, but in speculation, I do in fact think that someone like Trump, if not Trump, will be the antichrist. That figure will arise. Metaphysical entities will present themselves, point towards him, saying that we give our authority over to him collectively so that he can make there be world peace, etc., etc. And so they will actually, in my opinion, come from the ocean, 70% unexplored, if not more than that. And just like they did back in the day when all of the ancient depiction says that's where they came from. And these entities will come, and there will be a metaphysical delusion cast onto the world, a spell cast onto the world like none that we've ever seen. And in my opinion, it will be like a deception that's never been seen. Now, it will be similar to it. It will rhyme. It'll be the updated version. They learn from their mistakes, right? They've already tried it twice and had Atlantis. The world was wiped out. Then they had Babylon, and then they had their languages confounded and were broken up. And so this will be the third time. It's a little bit more polished. They learn from their mistakes. And so when the metaphysical entities come and they tell you they can reverse cell degradation, and they tell you can telepathically communicate, and they tell you, like, look, this guy's here been trying to drain the swamp. This guy's been trying to get rid of the government this whole time and show you all the lies, but he's been getting all kinds of death threats and assassination attempts, and they've threatened his family, and no one within the swamp. He's just fighting, and he gets in there and no one's on his side. Everyone works for the beast system or the deep state, and he can't get it out. He's going to help you reset the system and help you reset your debt, and et cetera, et cetera. He's really trying to help you out. We've been watching this whole time, trying to help him out. He wanted to tell you guys about us, but we told him to hold off. They weren't ready, and blah, blah, blah. And so this is how it's going to go down, in my opinion. And I think that it's possible that when they give their power over to him, he becomes what we would call the false Messiah, the Antichrist himself. Now, there will be many Antichrist spirits. It means imitation of Christ, and people already do that all the time. In fact, mainstream Christianity does this, and they've been duped into doing this by effectively saying, well, they get to throw the Torah out, and they get to then make it up themselves. The Word became flesh. He fulfilled it perfectly to show us how to do it, not to throw it away. And so effectively, if you think that, well, all you have to do is go with your conscience or what you think, and it's written on your heart, then you're the arbiter of right and wrong. You're the arbiter of sin. And in that case, you're actually imitating Christ, or the Word, right? The Word is what tells you what is wrong. And of course, Yeshua was the Word become flesh. So there are many Antichrist spirits. It's rampant. It's all over the place. People think that they're gods, quote unquote, and they say that a lot. But there will be an actual figure, a man of lawlessness, a son of perdition, a central figure that leads this new world order. And of course, it's very interesting. In God we trust, God being the Babylonian deity for fortune and luck. In God we trust on the back of your dollar. And then right underneath it, it says favors our undertakings. Well, who favors his undertakings? In God we trust, the Babylonian deity. So God is who favors their undertakings for a new world order, in Latin, around the all-seeing eye on top of the pyramid. They told you their entire plan and who favors it and who it is that's behind it right there on the back of the dollar bill. And that's how you should know. You know, that's not his name. Just like you know Jesus isn't his name, because the secret society of Jesus. I think they may come and say, look, this Jesus figure's here. He's come, whatever it is, but come check it out. You need to come to the East Coast to see him. You need to come to Nebraska to see him, whatever it is. And I think that basically in that final form, when Nimrod reemerges, he just kind of claims to be the source of the origin of these stories, and that he's come back to basically help us out again. So I think that a false Messiah is in fact coming. Okay. So with all that said, now since I've had one of my strikes taken down, I'm gonna get a little bit more real with you guys than I've been able to. We're gonna see how this goes down. You know, whatever, bro. I ain't scared, bro. So we'll come over here. All right, let's check this out. Fact check. I will not read these words though. You guys can see it. Fact check. Modification of RNA, genetic modification concoction. Okay, so fact check. The genetic modification does not contain luciferin or luciferase. So this is where it says that it doesn't. That's some crazy unfounded conspiracy theory, right? Oh, we can always trust Reuters, whatever their name is. Reuters. We can trust them for sure. Okay, so it's not in there, right? Case closed. They said it's not. Okay, so does the genetic modification contain SM102? Is it true that SM102 is not approved for use in humans? Yes, the Moderna not medical advice. Yes, the genetic modification contains SM-102, and yes, it is safe. Okay, interesting. So it's not in there. It contains SM-102. Okay. What are the ingredients? In case you were just wanting to make sure, there it is. SM-102. SM-102 right there. It's on a .gov website showing you the actual ingredients. What is SM-102? Okay. SM-102 is an ionizable aminolipid that has been used in combination with other lipids in the formation of lipid nanoparticles. Administration of luciferase mRNA and SM-102 containing lipid nanoparticles induces hepatic luciferase expression in mice. Formulations containing SM-102 have been used in the development of lipid nanoparticles for delivery of genetic modifications. So there you go. That's what it is. Objectively, it does in fact utilize this. Right there it is. Okay. Luciferase, SM-102. Okay, here you go. They don't even hide it. They show you right here. It's right there. So there you go. SM-102. Okay, so just to cover that, and I'm just going to do the best that I can, and I'm just going to chat with you guys. Like I said, I'm not going to go super long. So anyway, genetic modifications have been utilizing this technology. As you can see, SM-102 is right there. Luciferase mRNA. Luciferase meaning light bearer, and quantum dot tattoo, same thing. They utilize luciferase enzymes within nanoparticles. So they're using nanoparticles in all these situations, utilizing luciferase, light bearing, the emission of light. We'll just go with that, even though it's a pseudoscientific definition of light to even say that word. Actually, all you do is perceive the illumination rate that's already of what's already there, the medium that's already there, of course. But that means that you are made up of a fluid-like composition intrinsically, and they are illuminating parts of it and then tracking that. Okay, and so it tells you that whenever you take the mark, that the light will no longer shine in you. You will not hear the voice of the bridegroom. So my entire purpose here is that I'm trying to make to you is, okay, they are actually utilizing this technology to track the light in your body. It has dimerisol, the most energy efficient compound there is. Dimerisol is an organic compound of mercury. Mercury is the most energy efficient thing that exists. Okay, and so it's going to help with the fluorescence, the illumination. That's why we put it in certain light bulbs. And of course, it also could receive frequencies very well. And of course, you can manipulate molecular structure, actions, thoughts, beliefs with electromagnetic impulses if you had the right composition within people to do that with. And so, yes, it does appear that these zombies movies were actually predictively programming you for literal genetic modification, ripping the spirit and the light out of every single human that takes it. And then they're walking around like literal zombies. It doesn't seem like it's just all made up, unfounded, just exciting narrative of movies. We have been predictably programmed with this idea for a very particular reason, so that when it starts to happen, it will seem surreal at first, but then we'll just kind of click over. Well, we've seen this a million different ways, and we'll just accept it's real. If I had told you what happened over the last year, over a year ago, you would have thought that I was crazy. So what they've done is they predictively programmed us, and they've tested us logistically to see how much we'll fall for. All this to say that what I think, when this false messiah comes, this false messiah will integrate himself within this technology. He'll stamp it, and even if it's a marker, the quantum dot that shows that you've been genetically modified, that is certainly the mark if that happens. And of course, the genetic modification could be the mark. It just has a luciferase mRNA in there that it changes your genetic structure, and people say they don't feel the creator anymore, but whatever, could be a coincidence. And so the Messiah, the false Messiah, right? He'll maybe even be able to communicate. You'll feel like you can communicate. You can hear his communication. You can have telepathic communication. And he will come within you at that point, claiming to, in fact, be the creator. You will worship him. And the temple is, of course, you. You are the temple. Now, there's numerous applications. They'll probably physically build a temple as well. They really like to fulfill the prophecies in numerous ways, layered metaphysically and physically and literally, right? So they have already started building it, the bottom, like underneath the ground, underground. They started building the tower already, rebuilding the tower, looking to Luciferian Masonic literature, and it straight up tells you that they want to rebuild the Temple of Solomon. So we may sit in a literal Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, try to rule the entire world in a metaphysical state once the 10 kings, i.e. the metaphysical entities, the watchers, the fallen ones that have deceived everyone already, then give their power over to him. The Queen of the South comes from the ends of the earth and also gives her power over to him, or at least concedes that he has the power, and many people will follow. Now, that's interesting, right? Queen of the South from the ends of the earth. Of course, we know that makes perfect sense, knowing that the earth is flat. And do they maybe have land out there as far away from the creator as they could get? And that's why they go out there, because it's further away from the center, which, stands in that the throne might be where everything is moving around above us for all recorded history. And so they went all the way to the outskirts to get far away from him. They created this civilization, more advanced, free energy, much like the one world civilizations that existed before, where you have the pyramids that are identical in architecture, built all around the world. And we've seen this architecture that they told us was built in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s with horse and buggy, when in fact it does appear that there is no way that they made it, and it was just a one world civilization that had an electrical grid with star force and atmospheric energy, with all within what we would call the ether, or I would now call Hashemayim, the unseen existences. And they're able to harness this and then communicate all around the world instantaneously, sharing this electrical grid where the entire world will be lit up in a unification of a one world order. And they're going to basically turn it back on. The infrastructure is already there. DC is already built for a council. It's already built to run the New World Order headquarters, or maybe we're the military headquarters. And the entire infrastructure sitting there right in front of you. People think that it was beautiful things that people built in the 1800s, but no, it was just there. So what did they do for the last year? They shut everything down and they made this vacant so that they are awaiting their arrival, so that everything will be vacant for them. Their one world civilization, smart cities and headquarters, well, they're vacant, waiting for them. So they shut the whole world down. They shut down DC. Everything is shut down and gated off. It's as if they are waiting for the arrival of these people. And yeah, it may sound crazy, but that's why it'll work. Because people can't fathom this. This is the first time in human history that people haven't known there were giants, doesn't know about the Watchers, doesn't know about the deceptions of the cutting of roots and how to kill a baby in the embryo state, etc., the child sacrifice across the board. So they've basically been duped into abortion, not realizing it's literally child sacrifice and nothing new under the sun. A lot of these different deceptions are working right now because they've erased your history, they've detached you from your ancestry, and dude, it says... And of course, this doesn't actually give you a free pass, by the way. So everyone really let this sink in and see if this would be you that fall underneath this category. When Yeshua, in fact, comes back, they will say, surely we inherited lies from our father. And yeah, well, we live in the generations where, we inherit lots of lies, but it's your duty to stand up and speak the truth. Seek the truth, speak the truth, find the truth, live the truth. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And so when people think his name was really Jesus, when people think that all of these false engravings of him is what he really looked like, all these false paintings of him is what they looked like, that there would be a pre-tribulation rapture, and then whenever stuff starts to pop off and there wasn't a pre-tribulation rapture, the scriptures must be wrong, when people don't know how to read the scriptures for themselves. And they think that Israel is the physical state when it says not everyone from Israel is of Israel. Galatians 3:28 says no Jew nor Greek nor male nor female nor bond nor free, we're all one in Christ, and when we're one in Christ we inherit the seed of Abraham and the promises within, and that he is not a respecter of persons, and in fact that is a spiritual house of Israel. Just like in the Exodus, some of the Egyptians left with the Israelites and were grafted in. We're actually the spiritual house of Israel. They think it's this physical state that was founded via the propaganda of world wars, and then the Rothschilds decided to go grabble it up. And so the truth of the matter is that whenever this place gets destroyed, as we're actually told that it will, they will understand that. They don't read the scriptures for themselves. They believe in the doctrine of men. They actually are just blindly obedient to the Zionists. They will think, oh, wow, the Bible can't be real, or at least as we have interpreted it, right? Because look at this, Israel got attacked and decimated. So then you could maybe run the entire avenue of, well, Yeshua wasn't really the Messiah. Maybe he hasn't really come yet. They can try to do whatever they want to. The New Testament needs to be thrown out because of this and this and this. I don't know. They can go lots of ways. To me, they are, in fact, creating the avenue for a Messiah-like figure, right? And for example, like in Judaism, they believe that the Messiah comes, but he's just a human political leader that takes over the entire world. And so I believe that these metaphysical entities will hand the power over, appoint him effectively as the human representative, right? And they may use this kind of stuff like Federation of Light, and that's why they call themselves the Guardians, a play on guardian angels in the Space Force. It's going to get real sci-fi real quick. And you need to get right with the Father so you have the actual discernment and the wisdom to see through this. I do not think that it will just be holographic technology of UFOs and some direct energy weapons. I think that it can get way, way deeper than that. They actually come with certain capabilities. It could go lots of ways. I mean, I would have to speculate all day. Hopefully many of you thought of it. The way that you see through this great deception is not to speculate properly and get it right, so now you know what's coming. the way to see through it is to get right with the Father and have the spiritual discernment, because the deception will be so great if it were possible, and the very elect would be deceived, that they will show you signs and wonders. You're not just going to get on YouTube and then know all the answers and be able to see through the deception. Get to still hold on to your pride and hold on to your depravity and to your sin, and not to actually submit to the will of the Father and humble yourself, because those who humble themselves will be exalted. Those that exalt themselves will be humbled. I know I'm talking quickly, but, you know, I'm trying not to keep the stream too long, and I wouldn't get my point out to you guys. So, okay, cool. I'll check the chat one more time, or in just a second. But before that, I want to also show you this. I think a lot of you may have seen it, but the world is a stage, and we are in for a ride. Just wait to see what happens. I think that there will be a bunch of chaos before we have the psychopathic Donald Trump himself come back. And let's check this out. Again, the world is a stage. You know, they always know what they're doing decades and decades in advance. And so let's check out what your boys got to say in 1989.
On October 18th, 1989, in West Branch, Iowa, Gerald Ford, the 38th President of the United States, shared history with students from across Iowa. The visit was part of a conference on the role of former presidents in American society, sponsored by the Herbert Hoover Library and Museum and the Gerald Ford Library and Museum. Here's how these students took advantage of a rare learning opportunity.
Thank you very, very much. It's a very high honor and a very great privilege for me to come to West Branch and to participate in this conference, which is being held here at the Hoover facilities.
Mr. Ford, what advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president, and the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law or constitution. And once that barrier is broken, from then on, men better be careful, because they'll have a hard time ever even getting a nomination in the future. But that's the way it's going to happen, and I think it'll probably come sometime in the next 4 or 8 years.
So all he had to do was lie about how long it would take at the end. And no, he's innocent. He was just guessing. Just a coincidence. 1989 told you exactly what we see on the horizon, with just an apparent location, Globers. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Get out of here. So yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I can drop the link in here in a second. Anybody wants to see it, but yeah, you saw the title. Just look it up. 1999, George Ford. He straight up predicts what. I mean, guys, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The world's a stage. Okay. So oftentimes people say, well, the Antichrist will be gay. That's something the modern church would say, because he has no affection for women. Well, and I've even regurgitated that myself a couple of years ago. They really got us with doctrine. But anyway, because you do read it and it says no affection for women. What you find out was there was no Hebrew word for goddess. And it's in the context of all these different quote unquote gods. And so we will have no respect for not the one true creator, the Father or the Messiah or any of these other gods. He will prop himself up to be the creator, to be God. For intents and purposes, so you know what I'm saying. Of course, when he says that he is God, he wouldn't even be lying. It's a Babylonian deity. And of course, this is Nimrod coming back. So he would be telling you the truth. If he said, Jesus, as in the embodiment, the representation of his name and remembrance being blotted out. Well, he's replacing it. He's replacing it. He's imitating it. He is the ultimate imitation and supposed replacement of the true Messiah. So that would be his name and remembrance being blotted out in their interpretation. He would be the actual embodiment of Jesus. what the word literally means, right? And whenever he says that he is God, the Babylonian deity for fortune and luck that favors their undertakings for a new world order on the back of your dollar, and this will be the resurrection of Nimrod. Of course, dismembered into 14 pieces, but they couldn't find his penis, and that's why we had 13 colonies, the founding colonies of America, and then, of course, the capital of the United States has a Washington Monument, 555 feet and 5 inches, which is 6,666 inches. Coincidentally, a phallic symbol representing Nimrod. They actually revere this guy's male anatomy, and that's, of course, the 14th and missing piece that Isis then imitated with gold to impregnate herself because she was a psychopath and necrophilia. So this is their actual religion, and they want to bring his reign back. Okay, the man of many names, the echo of Gilgamesh, Osiris, Apollo, name of many names. So there you go. It's very interesting, and of course we see nothing but this, Apollo worship all over Trump 66 floor. This guy's a psycho. So anyway, when it says he will not have affection for women, it says that he actually won't have affection for gods or even goddesses. No one but himself, no other god or demigod or the one true creator, but rather himself he will prop up. Well, then you look at Revelation telling you about the Queen of the South coming from the ends of the earth. Well, even she, say hypothetically, they have some land that they have hidden that's very advanced. They may even have some hybrids. They may even have some interaction with these metaphysical entities, probably constantly taking this MDMT, this Messiah DMT that utilizes gold, which explains, I told you guys it explains the whole Moses thing. I'll talk about that in a second. And so they're constantly interacting with these entities, and then they have some type of deified goddess, right? Which will make the Matrix make a lot of sense because the good guys are the bad guys are the good guys, the agents are actually the angels, the antichrist is Neo, and then you just kind of start to see what's really going on there. So the female deification in the movie The Matrix would make a lot more sense to you. That is the esoteric belief system and religion put out into plain sight for the world to see, but knowing that no one would put it together, and that the simple trick to interpreting the Matrix is to invert it and apply the scriptures, right? Not many people say, "Oh, it was originally written about." No, I think that the Matrix came out for a reason. I'm not saying I don't know. It is interesting that guy does appear to have good evidence that it was stolen from him, but it's just so perfect. It's the esoteric belief system. It's the Gnostic, Masonic, Luciferian doctrine. And so I think that they actually have the deification of a female type of presence right now, and potentially in some of the land that they've forbidden. And that would be out south, where they're as far from the creator as they can get, from the central point, from the throne. And then they start to inch in as they get braver because they're ready to take over the world, right? Like, for example, Washington, D.C. is pretty far north, relatively speaking, in the overall scheme of things. And so they start to inhabit these cities again closer and closer north, as they get a little bit more bold and get prepared to actually fight the one true Messiah who comes back and obviously wipes the floor with them, but they think that they can win. And so whenever she comes, the Queen of South presents herself, he has no affection for her either. Like, even their little deified goddess, he's like, no. And she just bows to him, effectively relinquishes control, admits that he is more superior. That seems like a much more literal application of no affection for women than what we were told, which is that he's effectively gay. I'm not gonna lie, if Trump's gay, wouldn't surprise me. You'll never see the dude grow one piece of facial hair ever. But I don't go 0 to 1,000 talking about he's a tranny. I just think he's a psychopath. I think he's pretty funny. I think he's pretty good with his words, and that's how he's going to deceive a lot of people. And the reason that people adore him is because they're obsessed with him. Even the left's obsessed with him, still talks about him all the time. The right's obsessed with him and actually say that he's the chosen one. He's sent by God. He himself says he's the king of the Jews and that he's the chosen one. And so if he was able to take some type of metaphysical state and then bring peace and prosperity and remove poverty and give us like a jubilees of debt and give us all kinds of advanced technological advancements that we've been forbidden from seeing or having, although they're very old, tells us truth about the ancient civilizations, is able to float and to teleport and telepathically communicate. And that if you take this identifier, of course, Operation Warp Speed is not coincidentally spearheaded by this psychopath himself. If you take the mark or identifier, you will actually maybe be able to communicate with him, or you can hear exactly what he's saying to you, and he will replace the creator. Because, of course, you get electric downloads within this etheric background medium, Hashamayim, the unseen existences. And this is the way I see it, that is in fact how you communicate to the creator. You're electric, everything's electric. The medium that you're encompassed in, that you're getting these downloads from, is electric. And so he's able to then integrate some type of technology into you electronically, that he can then replace that voice with his own voice, and the light will no longer shine within you. You will no longer hear the voice of the bridegroom. He will sit in the temple and claim himself to to be the guide, that you cannot fully see the direction of the voice or tell or hear and detect the direction of the actual audible voice, but rather it seems as if it's coming from within, or, you know, from a creator. So that's what I think is about to happen. We're about to see how long it takes. I don't know. But I just know that we have people turning into zombies. I just showed you luciferase mRNA, admittedly. So you look at Reuters, it says, oh, no, there's nothing to do with luciferase at all. Oh, never mind. We use SN102, which has luciferase mRNA. Just a coincidence. They're genetically modifying people. It's getting really scary. It's getting really crazy. But we need to wake up people the best that we can and understand that we live in a hard time. This is a difficult time to be alive. It's amazing at the same time. It's beautiful at the same time. But it requires strength. It is not for the faint of heart. And it will test your faith more than any people's faith has ever been tested, right? That's what we are currently experiencing. And you need to understand this is the great divide, and that not everyone has ears to hear. Of course, he said, those who have ears, let them hear. Well, that means not everyone does have ears to hear. And of course, we know father will turn on son, mother-in-law will turn on daughter-in-law, and this is the time that we're in. So understand and accept that you're going to get the world the best that you can. Some of them will blindly march into the mark obediently and try to intimidate you or coerce you into doing it. And once they regret the decision, they will self-project their lack of security with their decision onto you. I experience this on a daily basis. Whenever I talk to people about this, they then try to give me all kinds of justification as to why they did it or why it was a good idea to do it. Typically with an undertone of some type of virtue signaling or superior position of morality, right? That they've basically given themselves. And they're just trying to convince you because, look, if I can convince you and it seems logical to you, then it gives me a little bit more contentment trying to reason myself into believing that it was, in fact, a good decision for me to get genetically modified. And of course, I've already told you guys about Department of Defense and how to combat religious terrorism. They said that they isolated a certain genetic structure, and that this genetic sequence is actually tied to spiritual experiences where your brain lights up a lot under a CT scan. And so they've isolated this, and it ties into your pineal gland, and they can actually remove this electric reaction effectively by manipulating a certain isolated genetic structure. And this is how they would combat radical terrorism, and it will be done in the form of an inoculation. Well, let's fast forward to now. Luciferase mRNA, luciferase enzymes, genetic modification, 100% mortality rate. It's getting really crazy. And so, yeah, I think they're getting everyone ready to basically worship this Messiah. Everyone's ready for everyone keeps talking about the aliens. The aliens are just going to come to give the truth over, or to give the power over to the central figure, the false Messiah that's coming. The false Messiah that the Pope will recognize, that Islam will recognize, that Hinduism will recognize, agnosticism, Scientology, Mormonism, you name it, the modern church. It will all recognize this false Messiah because you have metaphysical capabilities, and he'll be able to do miracles and have wonders and things that to the carnal mind would seem this guy must be some type of God. And this is why you need the Spirit. So they're setting the world stage and the setting for the false Messiah. It's very clearly that's what's coming. It isn't just about aliens. All right, so there's what I want to talk to you guys about. David Weiss is the man. Yeah, absolutely, bro. He's absolutely crushing. Coexist is the new world order, one world religion. Shaking my head. Yeah, exactly. The one world religion will just be it's all about love, and we can all agree it's all about love, and we're all gods. It's all the same, and we're all worshiping the same God. It's about love, peace, and prosperity. Love. It's not going to sound bad. Not some dude jumping out of the bottom of the ground, breathing fire, trying to scare you. It's going to sound good. Aliens equal false rapture. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying. Like maybe alien abductions and people claim it's the rapture. I'm not sure what you mean. Deep inside the rabbit hole. Yep. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but he is indeed a legend. I'm going to kick it with him pretty soon. Unclean spirits can totally talk in your head, mimicking your inner voice, in my honest opinion. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And the truth of it is, dude, you have a ton of responsibility. Like, your consciousness is so incredibly powerful, and that's why I really didn't have a problem fighting back or clapping back, pushing back on this personification of a bad guy that makes you do everything bad. No, stop undermining how much responsibility you have To whom much is given, much is expected, and comes much responsibility. And there's a spectrum of this within humans, but humans itself, as a human itself, it comes a lot of responsibility. You have the physical benefits, you have metaphysical benefits. You're a beautiful piece of the Creator, and so you have a lot of responsibility with that power. And so you can choose to do good or bad. As soon as you're trying to justify doing something in your head, you're effectively almost always justifying sin. You have a ton of power. It's not some bad guy that breathes fire. Now, there are unclean spirits. Does appear to be metaphysical entities that deceive. And I think that they can maybe mess with you if you allow them to, if you give them some type of gateway, if they can get that into that wavelength of electrical download. Of course, waves don't have links. They're types of movement, transverse movement in a medium. So you couldn't have a length of a wave when a wave's not a thing, but I digress. So there you go. I think that's what I got lined up for you guys. Let's see. Let me make sure. Indeed it is. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the super fast recap. If you guys have any questions or any comments you want to say, go ahead and say them right now. I'll keep up with them. Biden is another puppet antichrist coming soon. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Biden's a psychopath that can't even speak in coherent sentences. Just wait until the dawn comes back. Yah didn't create us for no reason. We all have a purpose. Absolutely. And actually, I will say, intellectually speaking, it was just the antecedent of the physical reality. And we actually have a use case that was literally needed. That's a literal purpose, and that was domain on the earth. Humans were created out of necessity, a natural reciprocation or reverberation of what was created for there to be something that basically keeps it all in order with domain on the earth. Humans are very powerful and came with a very important purpose, and you have a spirit and a soul, and you're special and beautiful and made in the image of the Creator, and you have manifestation capabilities and metaphysical capabilities, and in no way are you just some random physical vessel that means nothing. You have tons of power, and even the angels are, in fact, somewhat jealous of you, if you will, because of all the different power you were given. And that's the actual truth. Firestream bros, thank you very much, bro. All right, so I'm going to go back through a lot of this real quick, and then I'll do the super fast. I know the stream has been fast pretty much the whole time, but I'll do the recap for you. So basically the recap is, I know everyone's talking about aliens, and they're clearly getting us ready for a great deception. And of course, we are in the end, and the deception will be so great that if it were possible, and the very elect would be deceived. Everyone's talking about aliens. The governments are now coming out admitting UFOs, and that they've known about UFOs for decades and decades, but that they're unidentified and they can't explain what they actually are. These are, of course, going to be presented as these metaphysical entities that live in the ocean, is my take. And so they're getting the world ready. This is the setting that's being set. The stage is being set for a false Messiah to arise, and people will worship him. So let's see what the scriptures tell us about this. This is when Yeshua, the one true Messiah, was asked about the end. Matthew 24. This is Matthew 24, verse 22. We'll start there. When Matthew was asked how we know we're in the end, and expect those days to be shortened. There should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. We had the 20 shortest days last year. The days are literally shortening. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning cometh out of the east and shineth even into the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. It will be instantaneous. The entire world will see him. They will not have to tell you to come look at the one true Messiah. Come check it out. He's in the desert. Come check it out. He's in the secret chambers. So when they say, Lo, here is Christ, believe it not, no one has to come and tell you. Everyone will instantly know. There will be many false Christs and false prophets, and they will do great signs and wonders. These are literal, what we would call miracles, not just some deception. It's a deception, but it doesn't mean that something doesn't physically happen that's miraculous. Great signs and wonders. The scriptures don't normally just exaggerate, in so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. Of course, that means we're here, and that means that you need to be elect to see through the deception, because it will be so great. And as, of course, you only get that from the Father. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to come over here, go to the next share screen. It's in a world. So then I'm just trying to kind of tie everything of modern times together now that we've gotten one of the strikes off. I can kind of maneuver it a little better. Fact check Reuters, because That's who we need to fact check things for us as Reuters. This is another one that admits that what we're about to show you, the SM102 by Reuters, it admits it's in there. It just says it's safe. What a joke. So it says, fact check, the genetic modification does not contain luciferin or luciferase. Of course, again, there's another article by Reuters that says it does in fact have the SM102. You asked, we answered, does the genetic modification contain SM102? Is it true SM102 is not approved for use in humans? It literally wasn't, but now they're saying that this is safe. And it's saying, yes, genetic modification does contain it, and yes, it is safe. Of course, here it is. If you don't believe that website, which was a university here, I think that was like Nebraska University. Either way, we'll check this right here. .gov website. There we go. Genetic modification, where it modifies your RNA. And of course, we come down here to the ingredients. SM102. Well, what is SM102? There you go. Here it is. SM102 is an amino lipid that has been used in combination with other lipids in the formation of lipid nanoparticles. Administration of luciferase mRNA and SM102 containing lipid nanoparticles induces hepatic luciferase expression in mice. Formulations containing SM102 have been used in the development of lipid nanoparticles for delivery of genetic modifications. And so I explained that they have something called the quantum dot tattoo. Pfizer's been working with quantum dot tattoo technology as early as 2010. I dug a little bit and saw all this admitted in financial disclosures ducked off in the bottom right of the website. And of course, this utilizes the luciferase enzyme tracking the light activity in your body. It says that it can 100% track your body activity utilizing the light after 9 months, not coincidentally the same amount of time it takes you to be born out of the womb. They are trying to rebirth you, and that they will be able to predict your body activity with 100% accuracy. This is a delivery system for inoculations. Admittedly so, this technology has been publicly available for a while now. There are dozens and dozens of things you can look into to read about this, and it uses nanoparticles. And so now you're talking about something that utilizes nanoparticles, a luciferase mRNA that tracks the light. They use dimerisol, which is an organic compound from mercury, which is the most energy efficient thing that exists. That's why I told you mercury was bad and poisonous and blah, blah, blah. Mercury and gold are very good for magnetic permeability and energy efficiency. And it seemed that the ancient civilizations knew this. They're putting this in you in all of these different inoculations since you were at a young age, and so that they can better track your light. And that whenever they send these EMP frequencies towards you, and certain lower frequencies are sent at you, maybe with this electrical grid system that's been set up all around us. The same year the whole world shut down, as they put Starlinks all in the sky, and they want 42,000 of them so that they can connect with these towers. Well, maybe, just maybe, when they flip it on and they send certain frequencies, I don't think people just drop dead. I just think that they're going to, actually manipulate your genetic structure, your molecular structure, your very thoughts, your very being, your very light production. For intents and purposes, light production, by emitting certain frequencies that your body will now be receptive to due to the nanoparticles. And so this will all be done and tie into the Great Deception, where there will be a central figure that comes and leads these quote-unquote aliens, or however they present themselves as metaphysical entities. It will be the Watchers that have already been here before. He'll be able to communicate within you. He'll sit within the temple, which is your body, as claiming he is in fact God, which is the Babylonian deity for fortune and luck, but that he is in fact the creator, that he is a god. He will actually sit within your temple to do this. Well, you'll take this marker identifier. They can sense certain frequencies and basically effectively communicate, and you will not be able to know where it comes from. This technology has existed for a long time within our own military. It's called like the God technology, where they literally can imitate different type of deities and send a certain type of wave at you where you cannot tell which direction it comes from or what is the source. This will all integrate into the false messiah. We're watching the world set up the stage for the false messiah, and so just be wary whenever they say, come over here, come over here, come over there, come look at this. Oh man, the Messiah's here. Oh, this guy's a god. Oh, this guy created us. Oh, this guy knows the secret about the ancient civilizations and all the corruption. He's trying to help us. These other metaphysical entities gave their power over to him. Now look, he grew way bigger. Now he looks way younger. Now he can give us cell degradation and hover and all this other nonsense, and whatever amazing signs and wonders he does will just be fulfillment of prophecy, and that you will need the Father to actually be able to see through this deception. If you don't realize that they're setting up a great Messiah or false Messiah, I don't know where you've been. But Judaism, Islam, Catholicism will all agree on this, that this guy is the Messiah, and that this will be the one world order of peace and prosperity prosperity, and this guy will actually lead and rule it from the state of Israel and Jerusalem. That is what the prophecy says. And of course, we do know that Trump moved the embassy to Jerusalem, and I have an entire "Is Trump the Antichrist" stream, which still no one can answer these questions that try to defend him. So he got bit up by the Rothschilds for just under $5 billion. He's got the Tree of Life Award. He's big into Kabbalah. He went to a Jesuit school. It just never ends. He on the 66th floor, Apollo worship. Trump means little horn. The Antichrist is referred to little horn. Trump, trumpets with his stupid little vice president. Of course, the Zionists have been printing him on his coin, calling him Moshiach in Hebrew. So it says anointed in English on the coin comes from the Hebrew word Moshiach, which means Messiah, and he moved the embassy to Jerusalem. So there you go. Of course, he tweeted that he said that he is the chosen one, and then he again retweeted that he's the king of the Jews, and they love him like the second coming of Christ. So he's basically already you turn him blue, man, breathe. No, it's all good, bro. That's just what I do, bro. And so, yes, the world's being set for the false Messiah. Do not fall for it. Someone doesn't have to come tell you that a Messiah is here. Right, because if it's the true Messiah, everyone will see, every knee will bow, and it will be instantaneous, just like lightning. So there's that, and then what I'll do is I'll show this creepy little video to you guys again that predicts the first female president, and this is from 1989. Gerald Ford. I called him George Ford earlier. Let me find him. Yeah, here we go. 1989. And so expect this to happen. Expect it to get pretty crazy and pretty bad so that they can create the need to usher in this messianic figure to save the day. Also, if Kamala pops in there, just expect reparations to the black community and for it to tiptoe or basically topple normality and everyone freak out and panic, and they can try to get us to divide and argue with amongst each other. I'm just saying, like, that would really amp things up. So anyway, it's pretty obvious that this is part of the script and this is what's going to happen. And then he'll come in to have to save the day. But here is, again, wrong thing. 1989. This dude just telling you exactly what is applicable today. You couldn't make it up. And look how it's kind of funny when he says it, because knowing what we know, but it's just insane that he actually said this. So this is 1989, former President Ford. Check him out.
On October 18th, 1989, in West Branch, Iowa, Gerald Ford, the 38th President of the United States, shared history with students from across Iowa. The visit was part of a conference on the role of former presidents in American society, sponsored by the Herbert Hoover Library and Museum and the Gerald Ford Library and Museum. Here's how these students took advantage of a rare learning opportunity.
Thank you very, very much. It's a very high honor and a very great privilege for me to come to West Branch and to participate in this conference, which is being held here at the Hoover facilities.
Mr. Ford, what advice would you give a young lady wanting to become President of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become President of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. You'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law or constitution. And once that barrier is broken, from then on, men better be careful, because they'll have a hard time ever even getting a nomination in the future. But that's the way.
There will be no more nominations, though, will there, Mr. Ford? Maybe there will be no more nominations, huh? Or maybe the nomination comes in the form of these little entities. So anyway, I saw someone say that black's a dumb term. I agree. Black and white are both dumb. I've never met a black or a white person. We're just different shades of brown. I don't necessarily agree that people with darker skin are the Hebrew people because David had red hair. So he says he's not a respecter of persons, that you can't track back the lineage. And in fact, whenever he had we had the author that had to rewrite all of the scriptures that were burned in Babylon, he was upset because he couldn't piece it all together. And he also had the realization that, in fact, they couldn't track the Hebrew lineage back anymore. It's probably because they knew we'd be so focused on our exterior so we could feel special that we're this color or whatever. And so he knew the deception was going to be so great. The last thing you should be worried about is coming up with stories about who tracks back to who when everything was dispersed. And in fact, the reason it's hyperlogical. The 12 tribes actually span the entire human spectrum of pigment. But I do agree, black is dumb, white is dumb. There aren't really races. There's a human race, and then we have different cultures within. We have different appearances, because Yah is amazing and makes us in lots of different forms. So there's that. All right, I'll check and see if there are any donations, and I'm gonna get out of here. I hate you guys in an hour. It's midnight. Then we're gonna have to get up tomorrow and head to Philly. I know tonight was a pretty fast stream, but I wanted to get all the information out there, and then I did a recap for you guys. I just wanted you guys to see where I'm at right now. There's a whole lot of gravy that I want to talk to you guys about, but I want to kind of like set up the streams and have them set up and make sure that they're actually specific. I don't want to scattergun you guys too much. So there's that. Let's see if I can get enough service to actually pull these up. Michael, very generous donation, bro. Thank you very much. Michael Line, much love to you. And Chris, love Michael Line. Thank you very much, bro. It means a lot. You support me a ton. You support our tour a ton. And I can't thank you enough, bro. So thank you for the kind words and the generous donation. You guys are why we were able to do this. I did see something pop up over here. In a world where my data is trash, even though I pay like $400 something for data every month just so I can stream. $400 in data. I had to pay my phone bill, and I can't upload simple things. Okay, support where you like or it goes away. Much love for what you're doing out there in the field. Thank you very much. AMCM, thanks for the support and the kind words. I agree. Support where you like or it goes away, but only if you feel led to do so, and understand that it's not like you get some juice over the tour over me or over Chris or anything like that. It's because you want to help out of the kindness of your heart, or you feel led to do so. And I appreciate it in advance. And then thank you, John, for the donation on PayPal, bro. Much love. It means a lot. You guys are awesome. So I got a lot of cool stuff coming for you guys. I'm going to stand in front of the Liberty Bell. Of course, they use bells for resonance, for free energy, it appears, and that's why there are bells everywhere. And also, like Baal, they love to throw that in your face. And Taco Bell, think outside the box. Well, there are corners and there's a firmament. So what box they want you to think outside of? What is bell? But anyway, so I'm going to do a stream in front of Liberty Bell in Times Square, New York City, and then we're going to go chill with Dave on his the Flat Earth Yacht Club is the plan, and get some footage there too. So then hit Niagara Falls, have Niagara Falls in the background with the microphone, dropping the truth about the scripture and the true nature of the earth as close as we can get there. And so that's kind of the plan. I got a couple people that are from near here that maybe we'll meet us in Philly tomorrow. That would be cool. In a world where gas balls come together in the vacuum of space. Thank you for the super chat, Pops Legend. Yeah, it's hilarious. People think that there are balls of gas in a vacuum, and supposedly we're the crazy ones. What a cool story. And I do always like to say this. Thank you, Colin, for the $4.99 super sticker. Much love. So on board for this tour. Thank you, bro. Yeah, the father called me out, man, straight up, and I knew that I was supposed to sell all my stuff, and so I just did it instantly. I didn't think twice because I knew it was supposed to happen. And we're going all the way. We're going all out because he wants us out there. Chris is down for the ride. Couldn't ask for a much better driver who's actually down for the truth movement. Wow, Wendy, very generous super chat. Thank you very much. Yah bless. Thank you. And Yah bless you as well. It means a lot. Thank you for the support. That was very generous. Thanks for streaming. Yeah, of course, bro. I know we've been missing some of these. I'll try and get these in every night, but like, for example, when I went to the White House and I was out there for like 6 hours talking, and not all of it's on camera. And I mean, you're just like physically exhausted at that point. But I will do the best that I can to go out and do activism streams during the day, then come back and do stream on here. I'll try my best to start keeping up with the website, and then we'll give you some edited videos as well, some compiling of behind the scenes, some updates to the dates and the actual routes. It's just a lot. Then we're going to get the QR codes updated, made, printed on business cards, printed on stickers, maybe get the flat earth sun, moon, and clock app on the RV itself. So we got a lot of stuff in the works, but as you can see, the tour has picked up in pace significantly, and we plan to really just start, planting seeds everywhere that he leads us throughout some of the most prominent places in the beast system where people need to hear the truth, and then keep it pushing. I'm not going to sit there for a month in each city just begging people to listen. Dust your feet off whenever the town doesn't hear you. Trust me, Atlantic City was just about as dead as it could be. It was disgusting. Trash everywhere, depravity everywhere, everyone just so stoned out of their mind that they're just wandering around. Looks like a lot of people have already had the light taken out of them. So I definitely needed to dust my feet there, but I do know for a fact that there were numerous people that received it and heard it and were thinking very seriously about stuff that they had never thought of before, including the scriptures, coming and asking me questions, asking me to continue going, keep it pushing and keep it going. Same thing on the beach. We had one guy really spiral, and then the lifeguard came and basically threatened to call the cops. I was like, dude, I was just at the Pentagon talking to military officers. You think I'm scared of you, bro? Some lifeguard. But then right after that, I had like a pretty little Latina female call me over there, ask for my IG and say, we were listening to you. Some people are listening. Keep doing what you're doing. That being said, I'm just trying to explain to you that although it may not always seem that you're making a huge impact to the Father, that 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 people that heard it is a huge deal. He cares about them just as much as he cares about everyone else. And so we're being called out into the world to do our part, whether it be at your job or online or on your Facebook or on your phones or to your friends and family. But do not just hone in because it is your family and that's what's most important to you. He wants to use you. He's calling up an army to go out there on the front lines while there's still time and to wake people up. That's what we need to do. And if any little bit I can do can motivate you to do that, then I hope that's what we're doing here. Yeah. And thank you guys for all the support. You guys are the best. And I will go live tomorrow, maybe in front of the Liberty Bell. I have to figure out where we're going to stay and everything. It might be the day after that, but I'll try to give a heads up. I do mobile streams, can't give you too huge of a heads up, so just smash the notification bell and stay on top of it. I know that they remove the notification bell and sometimes still don't send notifications out. Which stream was it? The one on the beach is the one where the guy went crazy, if that's what you're asking. You're making a difference, Austin. Thank you very much. All I got out of this stream was pretty Latino. I just kidding. Time to put on the armor of Yah, repent, and stand firm. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. Nice locations. Thanks. Yeah, if anybody's in the area of that path where we're going to Philly, and dude, Atlantic City's absolutely trash. I'm just being real. If you live here, I'm sorry. Around here, I love you, but dude, it is disgusting. I've never felt so filthy, bro. It's awful. But anyway, we're going to go to Philly, then up to New York City, Manhattan, Times Square area, flat smack Times Square, then go chill with Dave, then cut over to Niagara Falls. If you're in the area of any of these places, in between any of these places, and want to meet up for lunch or whatever, I think we have a few people that might come to Philly that are from this area that are flat earthers that are going to grab lunch with us or grab dinner with us. So that's pretty much what we're doing on the whole tour, is doing activism out in the streets and then meeting up with fellow like-minded people and hopefully creating a network of connections so that we can build a community once we buy some land and this tour is over. That's kind of the plan. And of course, I would love nothing more than to get a wife and make babies, but I'm letting the Father take care of all that. All right, cool. So I'm going to come to Los Angeles. Yeah, we are coming to the other heart of the beast, Los Angeles. That is, in fact, the plan. Chris is from that area. All right, I love you guys. I'm going to catch up with you guys on the flip side, like a coin toss. So seek and speak truth unequivocally. I've caught up on most of my emails. I'm trying to catch up on the emails, trying to catch up on my texts. I love you guys. I'm doing the best I can. But yeah, email me with any inquiries about the tour. I'll try to get the website a little bit better where it's actually got videos on it and stuff. I might have to upgrade something. I don't know how much it can handle. It's kind of slow for me. So I'll do the best that I can. Seek and speak truth unequivocally. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. So actually, when they revile you for his name's sake, for the Father's sake, for the Messiah's sake, rejoice, for they did that to all the prophets before you. Expect it. In fact, wear it as a badge of honor. The weak find contentment in the consensus of ignorance. They gather together, they throw rocks at us, but it's just because they're projecting their own intellectual or moral insecurity, typically the latter. Solid, man. Good night, man. Much love. Love you guys. Shalom, brother. Get some rest. No doubts. All right, so I'll catch up with y'all tomorrow. Don't know what time we're gonna get out of here, so I can't promise any times, and you guys know it's really difficult for me to do that. But let me find the little outside video. Yeah. Okay. So once again, if you want to support the tour, masqueradetour.com. That's MASKERAID tour.com. There it is at the bottom. $ WitsitGetsIt on Cash App. Witsit@protonmail.com on PayPal. And shout out to all the patrons. I'm gonna make a special little video shouting you guys out. I'm not gonna forget you guys. And yeah, till next time, I'll catch up with you. Peace.
Geopolitically, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up, had to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Took the way you saw the world, then distorted it. Now you think you wanna rock and twirl somewhere orbiting. Theories disproportionate, the truth distorted quick with a forceful grip. They force them as simple that we absorb it quick. Took the people's signature, that mean extorted it. They forging it. If news ain't good informants who informing them, there's a surplus, but they tell us there are shortages. Credit economy mortgages, dollar that's supported with empty fortresses. But what's important is this: we courting ships, important gifts, of course it is. But extortion is in accordance with an assortment list of foreign tricks we ignoring, which informant this, informant this. It looked like we were snoring tricked. Pedophilia and the government endorsing it. Yeah, eugenics is exactly what abortion is. You just vilify those insubordinate. Way to matrix engineer, that's unfortunate. Geopolitically, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real? Rappers acting say they high, say they simple pills. Glorify suicide so they get the deals. Big pharma set it up just to flip the pills. Control the music industry until the scripts get filled. Geopolitically, yeah, we in a field that's for Israel. Wonder, is it real?